Now starting off, we have James Corden. In 2022, James Corden was exposed for being rude and demanding at a restaurant, and he was temporarily banned from there. In an Instagram post, Keith McNally, the owner of celebrity hotspot Balthazar, explained how James had berated his employees on multiple occasions, called the TV personality a tiny cretin of a human, and detailed 2 incidents of Corden's of behavior as a customer. Now, the first account claims that the talk show host was extremely nasty in his demands of Balthazar's manager, reportedly commanding the employee to take care of their drinks so Corden would not write any nasty reviews in Yelp or anything like that. Another alleged outburst occurred when Corden was dissatisfied with his wife's omelet and, according to the Instagram post, began yelling like crazy to the server, "You can't do your job, you can't do your job, maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelet myself." Now, after this was revealed, the post went viral, and James was forced to address the comments. James said, "The truth is, I have made a rude comment, and it was wrong. It was an unnecessary comment. It was ungracious to the server." Now, since then, other people have spoken out about his unacceptable behavior, and to be honest, it doesn't really surprise me, as I've always had just like a weird feeling about him. Next is Ariana Grande. In 2015, Ariana Grande had just gotten her wisdom teeth removed and was high on some laughing gas when she went to a donut shop. She was there with one of her backup dancers who she ended up dating, and while there she licked a donut she didn't buy and said, "What the F is that? I hate Americans, I hate America." Someone then leaked the video surveillance, and the footage prompted state police and health officials to investigate further, which resulted in the demotion of the shop's health grade from an A to a B. Now afterwards, Ariana tweeted, "I am extremely proud to be an American. What I said in a private moment was taken out of context, and I'm sorry for not using more discretion with my choice of words." Now, instead of addressing the incident, she only added that she felt very upset about the food habits of Americans and was frustrated by child obesity rates. She then put out a YouTube video apologizing, but people were furious. In the video, she said, "Seeing a video of yourself behaving poorly that you have no idea was taken is such a rude awakening that you don't know what to do. I was so disgusted with myself. Not here to make any excuses or justify my behavior because I can't. I'm just here to apologize." Now, the bakery owner ended up banning her for life and tried to press charges against her, although she was never actually charged for anything relating to the incident. Now, everyone in America was angry with her for saying that she hated America, but honestly, I thought the video was kind of funny. Now let's talk about Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was said to be banned from Los Angeles' Chateau Marmont after she stayed there while filming Liz and Dick during the summer of 2012. TMZ obtained a letter from the hotel's management requesting Lohan to pay the outstanding $46,350.04 bill that she accumulated over the course of her 47-day residency. Though the letter did not explicitly ban Lindsay, the word was that she was effectively banned from the premises, hotel, restaurant, bar, all of it. Now, she was paid $300,000 for her gig in Liz and Dick while staying at the hotel, but she claimed she was innocent, stating that she was under the impression that the bill would be paid by the producers on the TV movie. Now, among the purchases, according to the statement, included $3,000 plus each on room service, hotel restaurant bills, and minibar charges, in addition to more than $700 on cigarettes, $600 plus on laundry, nearly $400 on pay-per-view movies, and more than $100 on magazines and iPhone chargers from the hotel gift shop, plus the room rate and the taxes and the parking charges and other fees. Now we have Madonna. Alamo Drafthouse Cinema banned Madonna from its theaters after she violated their no texting policy during a screening of 12 Years a Slave at the 2013 New York Film Festival. According to one viewer's eyewitness testimony, which film critic Charles Taylor shared in a Facebook post, the Grammy winner spent much of the movie typing on her BlackBerry. When her cell phone usage prompted a fellow audience member to ask her to stop, Madonna allegedly replied, "It's for business," and slaver. Drafthouse CEO Tim League tweeted that until she apologized to movie fans, Madonna is banned from watching movies. While another tweet claimed it was really just a joke, The Hollywood Reporter stated that a few days later, Leak sent a letter requesting that Draft House theater managers prohibit Madonna from seeing films until she apologizes for her actions and acknowledges that texting during a movie is rude and disrespectful to the filmmaker and audience. Then there's Ruby Rose. In 2016, Ruby Rose got kicked out of Rebellion Bar and Urban Kitchen, a New Orleans restaurant, after the owner claimed she cursed out the bartender and threw food at him during a tantrum. Now, Ruby then explained why she did this. She said she, her assistant, and her manager waited 60 minutes for fries and 90 minutes for food that never came. When she told the bartender, he offered them drinks, but she politely declined because she's sober. Now, the bartender then made offensive comments about her sobriety. She said, he then made some really rude and vulgar comments to the table. When someone makes repeated derogatory jokes about the sobriety I worked so hard to achieve, it's hard not to react emotionally. So I threw a singular fry at him. She continued saying, then he came back as we were getting ready to leave and continued making awful comments. So I continued with the fries, she added. Every day I learn a new lesson about handling culture and social ignorance. I'm deeply regretful to the French fry, and I am regretful that I reacted at all. Maybe next time I won't throw fries. Then again, maybe next time the bartender won't tell someone who is sober to go call your effing sponsor. Now we have Jamie Foxx. In 2017, Jamie Foxx was kicked out of a restaurant in West Hollywood after he was attacked by another customer. TMZ reported that Foxx and his friends were in the patio area of Catch when a man approached them to tell them that they were being too loud. Now, things reportedly escalated quickly after that. A witness claimed that the man warned the group not to mess with him because he's from New York, and a friend of Jamie allegedly countered by saying, "F you, I'm from Oakland." Witnesses say that the man responded by lunging at Jamie, and cell phone footage shared on TMZ shows a man in a hat placing another man in a chokehold while someone is heard saying "calm down" repeatedly. Although some witnesses thought that the man in the hat was Foxx, another TMZ video which shows the men initially entering the restaurant proves that it was actually one of Foxx's friends. Later, Jamie, his friends, and the man who started the fight were reportedly asked to leave the restaurant. Now, 2 days later, Jamie shared a video on his Instagram account about the incident. He said, "Everybody's good, we don't want to get hurt, and we don't want nobody hurt." Zachary Quinto is an American actor best known for playing Spock in the Star Trek reboot film series, and he has been banned by a Toronto restaurant after it accused him of yelling at its staff during brunch service. According to an Instagram post shared this week by Manita, a cafe and bar on Ossington Avenue, Zachary was a terrible customer who made our host cry and the rest of our brunch diners uncomfortable. They added that he yelled at our staff like an entitled child after he didn't reply to text to inform him that his table was ready, and refused to believe the empty tables in the dining room weren't available for him, despite being politely informed that they were spoken for, the post continued. "Mr. Quintino, take your bad vibe somewhere else. We have many lovely celebrities join us at Manita, but you are not one of them." A representative for Manita would not elaborate on the incident, but confirmed to Star that he had been banned from the restaurant until we receive an acceptable apology. Now, Zachary was there celebrating his birthday, and things clearly got out of hand. Good on you guys for standing up for your staff and patrons, wrote at Toronto Eaters, a local food guide account. Good for you. Being a celebrity shouldn't strip you of basic manners and how to treat other human beings, wrote another user. Now we have Nicolas Cage. In September of 2021, a drunk, barefoot, unshaven man walked into Laurie's Prime Rib in Las Vegas wearing a black t-shirt and leopard print pants. Eyewitnesses told The Sun that they had initially assumed that the man was homeless. He ordered a drink and drank shot after shot of tequila, an expensive 1980 Macallan whiskey, before stumbling around drunk, shouting, trying to get into fights with customers, and arguing with the staff. Now, witnesses of the rowdy customer were shocked to realize that the out-of-control barefoot drinker was none other than actor Nicolas Cage. The staff eventually asked him to leave, and a regular ended up taking him home since he was in such bad shape. A witness said he was so drunk he could barely get his flip-flops on before being escorted out. Now, The Sun speculates that the incident may have had some connection to the rough year he had experienced so far, entering into his 5th marriage at the time and having his mother die. Next up is John Travolta. John Travolta was banned from a luxurious New York spa after worker complaints. Apparently, male staffers reported to management that John had made lewd comments and advances towards them during private massages. Now, Travolta would always request a man for his massage, but after a while, no one would take him because of his inappropriate behavior, said a former worker. It got to a point where they couldn't find any men to take him and they had to ban him. Now, the spa ultimately banned Travolta from the premises for 3 years. John and his wife at the time adamantly denied these accusations, asserting that he was never banned from the spa, despite never going back. And finally, we have Stuart Rahr. Billionaire entrepreneur Stuart Rahr was banned from Nobu, a popular New York restaurant, after he berated a manager and attempted to pay off diners for their table. It said that Stuart became visibly aggravated when he couldn't get a table at the pricey and busy restaurant. He called me the C word and said he would end my life, the manager Sharon Hofstetter said. He spent a lot of money and it's kinda like he thinks he owns this place, a waiter said. Now, after all of this, he was informed that he was banned from the establishment, and he proceeded to write an angry all-caps email to the manager, and it was extremely rude, so no shocker that he was banned.
J-Lo is being slammed online for her behavior in an interview on the Met Gala steps. J-Lo was a co-chair for the 2024 Met Gala and wore an eye-catching beaded Schiaparelli gown to the charity event. She was seen smiling and posing on the carpet, but not everyone received that megawatt smile. TikToker Annika Reed was present at the Met as an interviewer on the side. She was up close and personal with the stars and got some great shots of the celebs as they ascended the carpet. She was also close enough to ask celebs questions as they were heading up. And it seems not everyone was happy about that. As J-Lo was making her way past Reed shouted, "Who are you wearing tonight?" Pretty standard red carpet question, but J-Lo appeared less than impressed. With only a glance over, J-Lo responds with a quick Schiaparelli before continuing up. When Reed posted the video to her TikTok, the caption suggests she didn't mind J-Lo's response, but the comment section sure did. Many people calling J-Lo out for being rude. One person saying Reed receiving a rude J-Lo interaction was the J-Lo experience. Another person writing, "Ew, why she have that attitude?" In comparison to other celebs who met Reed's questions with big smiles and the occasional full-length interview, J-Lo's reaction does make her appear as the outlier. The Met Gala isn't the first major event where J-Lo was criticized for her actions on the carpet. Glam bots have increased in popularity over the years for good reason. They are the perfect way to showcase a celeb's look and almost always make people look amazing. A glam bot of J-Lo was posted for her birthday in 2022, but the video did not garner the response the poster probably hoped for. In the video, we can see Cole, the person who runs the glam bot, explaining to Jennifer as she walks up what is going to happen with the camera, just how it all works basically. Jennifer appears to be uninterested in what he's saying or distracted from other people talking about red carpets. We know that they are pretty fast paced, kind of like go go go, so maybe J-Lo really had somewhere to be or there was a big lineup so she was trying to keep a schedule. We never will know. The ending of the video does not paint her in the best light. As part of her glam bot, the singer's movements involved taking a step to the side, and then that step turned into her walking off. It's not shown if she said goodbye to Cole or anyone else working on the glam bots, but it doesn't appear that way. So naturally, people are pretty upset about it and leaving their thoughts in the comment section. One person writing, "She doesn't look very friendly." Another commenting, "Not her," immediately walking away. Cole did film a glam bot behind the scenes for this particular video where he explained the situation, saying they had very limited time, about 30 seconds, and he wasn't expecting to see J-Lo. So it was an in and out kind of situation. Back in October of 2023, J-Lo was photographed throwing up a rude gesture to paparazzi. The singer was photographed out with her husband Ben Affleck in the morning, and she was not very happy about it. Like many people online said though, can you blame her? She just wanted to head out for a quick breakfast with her husband and was instead hounded by cameras. Expressing her frustration, J-Lo threw up her middle finger at the paparazzi with a tight-lipped half smile. The photo went viral online and the response was half and half. Some people said she was being rude and the behavior was unacceptable. Others were more forgiving towards the star, bringing up that even Hollywood stars deserve privacy and are real people too. It's unclear if J-Lo was prompted to do the action just because of the situation or if something happened or was said to cause it. Jennifer Lopez attended the Grammys with new husband Ben Affleck in 2023, and the two were caught on camera looking less than and pleased with each other. The X account, Chicks in the Office, posted a video of the couple with the caption, "Someone please check on Ben Affleck." The video posted was about 30 seconds and it features host Trevor Noah sitting beside the couple. Since he was seated directly next to them and talking, the couple either didn't realize the camera was on them or the moment was a very believable bit. In the clip, you can see J-Lo speaking to Affleck in what looks like it could be a stern tone. As the camera gets closer, J-Lo lightly hits Affleck's chest before giving him a displeased look and turning away, looking frustrated. Affleck also is looking a bit disgruntled for the remainder of the video. Once Jennifer does turn around and realize where the camera is, she starts laughing and smiling again. Ben offers a little half smile, but mainly keeps a straight face. Interesting video of J-Lo seemingly flirting has made the rounds on social media. The video is weird, I don't know how else to put it. It's a heavily slowed down shot of J-Lo making a funny face towards someone behind her. The camera pans to someone who looks like a DJ. There are over 25,000 comments on the video and lots of them are saying J-Lo is flirting with the person. One person writing, "So disrespectful, poor Ben." The video was posted in May of last year and people are also up in arms about this video since J-Lo is standing directly beside her future husband Ben Affleck. Other angles of the moment show J-Lo jamming out to the music. Even Ben offered a little shuffle and that's when J-Lo looked the DJ's way. The clip is from the premiere of J-Lo's 2023 movie, The Mother. J-Lo went viral when on-set footage resurfaced of her spitting gum into an assistant's hand. The video was taken about 6 years ago now, and yet it still causes a stir every once in a while. Reposted all across the internet, the 20-second video shows J-Lo, presumably on the set of a TV or film. I'm guessing that the cameras are about to roll, but J-Lo is chewing gum, the method of choice chosen to get rid of that gum, and the situation appears to be spitting it directly in someone's hand. After the video went viral, again, people started pointing out that they are on a street and a major movie set. A trash can has to be nearby, or at least a tissue. Some people have commented on the clip when it was posted to a TikTok page, pointing out that J-Lo has a purse in her hand. Were there no tissues in there? People are just generally upset and mildly disgusted by the action. One person commenting, "I have never been in a situation where I felt the need to spit anything into someone's hand. I would swallow the gum before I would do something so disgusting." Those arguing in favor of J-Lo have brought up that the behavior is common on film sets, but the biggest player coming to J-Lo's defense in the situation is actually the assistant in the video. She took to her ex social media account to set the record straight. She clarified that there was a tissue in her hand and she requested that J-Lo spit the gum in her hand. She also said that there were large crowds present and it was winter and they were waiting for a light to change so that they could film, so there were a lot of factors that made this situation one where they had to move quickly. The assistant noted that spitting the gum in her hand was the most efficient solution at the time. Much to the displeasure of the star, the paparazzi can't seem to get enough of J-Lo. A video of Jennifer interacting with paparazzi was posted to TikTok in November of 2023, and like most of the other ones, she is not happy to be there. At the start of this video, we can hear the pop in question congratulate her and Ben. From that, and when this video was posted, I'm assuming the congratulations were about the pair's wedding a few months prior. Though the pop is trying to speak positively, J-Lo is still quite upset being followed around. As she is getting into her car, we can hear J-Lo say something along the lines of, "Nobody likes leaving their house and having you guys follow them every single day," finishing off her statement with a final, "Nobody likes that," as she continues getting in her car. The paparazzi filming can be heard saying, "I understand, Jennifer, I get you," as they continue to get closer to the star. Other footage released of the encounter shows an annoyed-looking J-Lo and Ben. The spotlight was stolen by a couple's argument at the premiere of J-Lo's 2023 movie, The Mother. J-Lo and her future husband Ben Affleck were photographed and filmed on the red carpet, and they did not seem overjoyed to be there. The pair appeared to be arguing with each other on the carpet. It's unclear what about. It could be something serious or something simple, like where they're going to stand next. They were pointing somewhere in the distance, so maybe they were debating whether or not to go inside. Regardless, the two look like they are exchanging heated words in front of the camera. The clip ends with Affleck moving off screen, likely giving J-Lo her moment with the cameras, as it was her movie after all. This clip is from the same premiere that the flirting clip was from. Paparazzi caught J-Lo after she was locked out of her gym, and the star was not happy about it, directing the F-bomb their way before she left in her car. In a clip posted to Daily Mail's TikTok, the Jenny from the Block singer singer can be seen running to her upscale gym's front door in bright neon yellow workout clothes. Only when she gets there, she is left waiting outside, the door is locked, and no one is coming to answer. I mean, this would be frustrating for anyone, but the star also has all the cameras watching her to deal with. Naturally, she grows aggravated and gives up the wait, getting back into her car. The pops get a bit closer to the star as she's trying to enter the car. You can hear the star tell them to go away. J-Lo leaves the pops with an "F you, bye." The video ends before we can see her car drive off. A clip from J-Lo's new documentary of the singer talking about award-winning dancer and choreographer Derek Hough went viral online because it appears that J-Lo is trying to move his wedding plans around to accommodate her movie. That sounds really bad, but that is absolutely what it looks like from the short clip. J-Lo is seen talking with people on her team. It looks like she is looking for someone to either choreograph or be in the movie, and she wants a good dancer. Professional dancer and Dancing with the Stars performer Val is brought up as a choice, but J-Lo isn't feeling it. She very clearly wants Derek. She says, "I mean, I know Val was available, but I want you to call Derek." She then goes on to say that she only needs him for 1 or 2 days. But as a member of her team quickly points out, he was busy because he was in a wedding. It was revealed by Derek at the premiere that it wasn't just any wedding, it was his wedding. Well, he revealed he received a call from J-Lo in the middle of planning his wedding, so people connected the dots from there. In the clip that went viral, J-Lo is unyielding and insists that Derek be called anyway. After the movie came out, Derek joined E! News for an interview where he clarified that J-Lo did not make him change his schedule. She flipped her schedule around for him. He also went on to say that J-Lo provided guidance and help while he was planning his wedding.
Number 10. The Community cast. Kicking off our list is a group effort. Chevy Chase was a popular man thanks to National Lampoon and Saturday Night Live, but he returned to the mainstream when he starred as Pierce Hawthorne on the hit sitcom Community. Now, I personally loved this show. Chevy Chase, not so much. And it would appear that his Community co-stars would agree with that statement. Around the middle of the show's runtime, Chevy started to complain about his co-stars, especially Donald Glover. It became apparent that he was more than just angry with Donald and was eventually fired for using racial slurs against him. According to Donald himself, aka Troy Barnes, Chevy would often make inappropriate jokes, either aimed at him or as a general way to disrupt a scene. Joel McHale told People that before he was fired, Chevy was complaining about his character on the show and how he was being portrayed. The entire cast reminded Chevy that there was no contract keeping him there, which may have been part of what set him off on set. His character was written out in truly humiliating fashion, with his life ending after feeding his geese too much, if you know what I mean. He was playing with his ding-dong. Number 9. Tyrese Gibson. It's no longer a surprise to anyone on the planet that James Franco is a bad dude. His negative vibe can actually be traced back to 2005. James and Tyrese Gibson starred opposite each other in a 2005 dramatic piece called Annapolis. The story followed Franco's character wanting to attend the titular Naval Academy and entering into a boxing tournament against some of the Navy's best and brightest. His main opponent was, of course, Tyrese Gibson. Throughout the majority of the film, James and Tyrese would regularly practice their choreography for their final fight of the film. Now, method acting is one thing when you just pretend to be someone else all the time, but it's different when you're literally punching your co-star for real. Instead of the normal film choreography allowing actors to fake hit each other, Franco was throwing real punches left and right without warning. Gibson tried to be civil at first and just asked him to lighten up, but Franco ignored him and continued to box his little heart out. When asked about the incident in interviews, Franco defends himself by saying that he was aware that he made the set difficult at times and just claimed to be so wrapped up in his role that he probably wasn't as friendly as he could be. Gibson, however, holds a massive grudge towards Franco, claiming that he'd never stepped foot in the same room as him ever again. Good news for Tyrese, James got cancelled and Fast 11 is surely on its way. Maybe they'll go to Atlantis this time. Okay, why does that sound cool though? Number 8, Viola Davis. Now, the stories about Jared Leto and his acting methods are infamous. On almost every single set that he's been on, this dude has just caused some kind of issue. Someone made a very smart decision to keep Jared away from his castmates on the set of Haunted Mansion. That decision really should have been made though on the set of the long-forgotten 2016 Suicide Squad from DC Comics, when Jared played the Joker and took it just way too far. Now, I have mentioned the fact that he's left live animals in people's trailers and used adult skin tubes on their pillows in many times in many other videos. For Amanda Waller, aka Viola Davis, she actually received an unwanted surprise that almost forced her to quit the gig. One day she returned to her trailer where she found a case filled with ammunition. Thousands of little metal life enders were just left there as a gift from Jared. Viola did not think this was a present. In fact, she thought that this was a threat. After speaking to her fellow castmates, she realized that it was just Jared leaving her a fun little gift, you know, just enjoy it. This was frightening to say the least, but for Viola, it set her off. When speaking about her time on the film, she has maintained that Jared was intense, and she's glad that she never had to be face to face with him on screen. Or maybe she was. Honestly, I try not to think about that movie very much. Number 7, Amy Hill. Yeah, baby! This one's shagadelic. Despite being a Canadian treasure and the man behind some comedy cult classics like Austin Powers and Wayne's World, Mike Myers is apparently a menace on set. According to his Cat in the Hat co-star Amy Hill, Mike had handlers dress his entire trailer and work area in tenting. Apparently, he didn't want anyone to physically see him. Honestly, that's fair. If I was in a cat suit with an actual plastic bum crack in it, I would want to hide too. His reputation as a difficult Donnie may have something to do with Hollywood basically blacklisting him from appearing as a lead in anything thanks to The Love Guru, which, again, I try not to think about that movie. Of course, he recently starred in his own show called The Pentaveret, which aired on Netflix, a show where he was forced to play half of the cast because he couldn't get more people to work with him. Or maybe it's because of The Love Guru. Honestly, it's a bad movie, who knows? Number 6, Latto. Latto debuted a new song at Coachella earlier this year, a catchy tune that a lot of fans are calling a direct diss towards Nicki Minaj. The big energy rapper provided fans with a fun dance track packed to the brim with shade. Rapping the lyrics, snitches acting like they're running it, they really ran through. She thought I would kiss her ash, but she mustn't have took her meds. Can you tell I'm not a rapper? Latto ended the song with several clues as to who the song was about, including some ad-libs like, say she got a problem, imaginary smoke, you said it's up, then put on the floor. I honestly would love to quote everything that she sang or said about Nicki, but it just does not sound right coming out of me. I mean, just listen to how I say the word snitch, like the true Harry Potter geek that I am. In the past, the two had a very public battle on Twitter with swear words and shade being thrown left and right. After Coachella in 2022, these two fell out even harder. An all-out verbal war had begun with the two now entangled in a lifelong feud that may never fade. Now, I'm not sure who the rude one is in this case. I will let you be the judge because you're probably a fan and I'm not. Number 5, George Takei. This one is for all of you Star Trek fans out there. Please just live long and prosper and enjoy this video. Now, the world will surely be well aware of this long-standing feud between William Shatner and his Star Trek co-star, George Takei. This feud has lasted over 50 years, and according to George, boils down to William being a prima donna attention hog the entire time he was on set. Over the years, George has always been very vocal about his opinion on his fellow Star Trek cast and crew. Most of the time, he has nothing but nice things to say and claims to have made lifelong friends from the project. But there is one that he despises: William Shatner. William Shatner was the bane of everyone's existence on set. He loved being the center of attention, and he was very self-involved. He wanted everyone to know who he was. William actually responded to these claims, telling people that he believed his Star Trek co-star was damaging his good name for publicity's sake. Why would a man who's barely acted in 30 years suddenly want to bash you for fame and glory? That doesn't make sense. I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, but William Shatner hasn't done much either in a while, other than petition to go to space for real. Number 4, Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne and Vin Diesel first met on the set of Fast 5, the 5th Fast and Furious movie. They're really great with names. This was Vin Diesel's 5th movie, while it was Dwayne Johnson's first, not just in the franchise, but in acting in general. Now, at first, everything seemed to be okay with these guys. Fast 5 made a ton of money, and they asked Dwayne to come back for a 6th and 7th installment. However, something changed in 2016 when in a now deleted post called one of his fellow Fast 7 co-stars a candied bum, only he didn't say bum. Man, I wish I could swear. He actually said a word that rhymes with grass. rumors began to fly that he was more than likely referencing Vin Diesel. Rumors proven true only a week later. Following the premiere of Fate of the Furious, Johnson posted to Instagram thanking all of his fellow cast members by name, but he left Vin Diesel out of it. It was later confirmed by Michelle Rodriguez, their co-star, that there was a massive amount of tension on set. They were bros at first, but as time went on, the franchise evolved, and so did their egos. They fought constantly over who should get more screen time, more money, who was the real lead, toxic stuff like that. To keep both of the actors happy, Johnson was given a spin-off movie where he co-starred with Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel was left right where he belongs with his family. Number 3, Meryl Streep. Dustin Hoffman is a very easy man to spot. Not only is he a solid actor, but he has a very specific face. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, anyone? Huh? Remember that movie? I didn't until I started writing this script, and I'm gonna go watch it tonight. Despite his ability to play lovable and cheerful characters, he actually started out as somewhat of a villain. On the second day of filming his more famous part in Kramer vs. Kramer, Dustin decided to improvise a scene where he strikes Meryl Streep across the face. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Dustin Hoffman thought it'd be a good idea to slap Meryl Streep. Mamma mia, that's not okay. Get it? Because she was in Mama? I'm just gonna move on. Not only was Meryl shocked by the move, but she recalled that Dustin was also trying to use a tactic on her called emotional recall, taunting her about her late partner, John Cazale, and his illness. So just extra level of evil from Dusty. Number 2, Freddie Prinze Jr. Kiefer Sutherland is known for his roles in movies like Lost Boys and Stand By Me, and has built a nice little nest egg for himself. For a long time, he was starring in the crime drama 24. Many celebrities have made small cameos and reoccurring roles on the show, but in 2010, Scooby-Doo alumni Freddie Prinze Jr. was casted as Agent Cole Ortiz. Despite the massive success of the show, the job left him scarred, admitting that he hated every moment of it. According to Freddie, Kiefer Sutherland is the most unprofessional person in the entire world. He continued to say that he wasn't talking trash. This was something that he would say happily to Kiefer's face. Apparently, a ton of his co-stars agree that he makes filming a living nightmare. Following the end of his character's time on the show, he did slow down in the acting world, now limiting himself to voiceover and cameo roles. The odd thing was that while there was some people backing up Freddie's story, there were actually a higher number of defenders for Sutherland, claiming the exact opposite was happening. Some say he's the most professional man in the world, so if anyone watching this knows Kiefer, weigh in, write hashtag Kiefer good or hashtag Kiefer bad, and see what happens. Number 1, Rachel McAdams. The Notebook is considered to be a great romantic movie, one of the greatest of all time, in fact. Oddly enough, the on-screen couple did not get along at all while filming. Rachel McAdams and her co-star Ryan Gosling would constantly fight on set and seem to have completely opposite ideas on how most of the scenes should play out. One day in particular was pretty exciting for anyone not involved, all the drama watchers on set enjoying their free tea. Ryan called over the director and demanded that Rachel be replaced by another actress to read her lines. In front of 150 crew members, Ryan Gosling was claiming that Rachel wasn't giving him anything, and the two would constantly yell at each other. Their toxic on-set feud somehow morphed into a real-life relationship that lasted for like 2 years. Anyone who's worked on the set of this film blames them for constant schedule setbacks and creating an overall difficult work environment. So honestly, we don't know who the meanest one was there, Rachel or Ryan. You be the judge. Number 10, Bill Murray. Sony's first venture into the world of Charlie's Angels was a massive success, starring Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu as the titular angels. The movie was filled with action, a bit of comedy, and one of the strangest performances ever delivered by Crispin Glover. Seriously, that guy needs some help. One interesting addition to the cast was the inclusion of Ghostbusters alumni Bill Murray as the man behind the mic in charge of the Angels, Bosley. Apparently, the set was anything but a comedy after Bill found out that a scene was rewritten without his knowledge. In an interview with the news outlet Deadline, Lucy Liu spoke up about her time on set and the situation surrounding Bill Murray's outburst. Apparently, Bill was away for a family event when a scene needed to be reshot for the movie, but instead of using a stand-in, it was decided that the scene could be filmed without Murray's character even being involved, so the scene went on without him. When he returned to find that the change was made while he was gone, he was furious. He reportedly shouted at half of the crew, including Lucy herself. At first, she wasn't wasn't sure why he was aiming his comments at her. She's not the one who wrote the scene, she wasn't the director or anything. So she asked if Bill was talking to her, which sent him into a full-on meltdown. She decided to speak out on Bill's behavior on set, and Bill was ultimately written out of the sequel. Lucy is proud for speaking her mind despite being a relatively unknown actor at the time, and has always been glad that Bill's career seems to have suffered for it, because Lucy was just the first of many celebrities to comment on his behavior, but we'll save that for another time. Number 9. Dustin Hoffman. Dustin is a very easy man to spot. Not only is he a solid actor, but he has just a very specific face. You know, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, anyone? That's an old one. Despite his ability to play lovable and cheerful characters, he actually started out as somewhat of a villain in the world of Hollywood. On the second day of filming his more famous part in Kramer vs. Kramer, Dustin decided to improvise a scene where he strikes Meryl Streep across the face. Let me rephrase that. Dustin Hoffman thought it'd be a great idea to strike Meryl Streep. Mamma mia, that's not okay. Get it? She was in Mamma Mia? I'm so good at this. Not only was Meryl shocked by the move, but she recalled that Dustin was also trying to use a tactic on her called emotional recall, and was literally taunting her about her recently deceased partner John Cazale and his illness. Yay! Number 8. James Franco. Tyrese Gibson and James Franco starred opposite each other in a 2005 dramatic piece called Annapolis. The story follows Franco's character wanting to attend the titular Naval Academy and entering into a boxing tournament against some of the Navy's best and brightest. His main opponent is Tyrese Gibson. Throughout the majority of the filming, James and Tyrese would regularly practice their choreography for their final fight of the film. Now, method acting is one thing when you just pretend to be someone else all the time, but it's different when you're literally punching your co-stars for real. Instead of the normal choreography allowing actors to like fake strike each other, Franco was throwing real punches without warning. Gibson tried to be civil at first and asked him to lighten up, but Franco ignored him and continued to just box his heart out. When asked about the incident in interviews, Franco defends himself by saying that he was aware that he made the set difficult all the time, and claimed to be so wrapped up in his role that he probably just wasn't as friendly as he could have been. Gibson, however, holds a massive grudge towards Franco, claiming that he'd never stepped foot in the same room as him ever again. So good news for Tyrese, James got cancelled and Fast 11 comes out next week. Number 7. Ryan Gosling. The Notebook is considered to be one of the greatest romantic movies ever made in Hollywood, but oddly enough, the on-screen couple did not get along at all during the shoot. They would constantly fight on set and seem to have completely opposite ideas on how several of the scenes should play out. One day in particular was pretty exciting for anyone who wasn't involved, drama watchers sipping their tea, as Ryan called over the director and demanded that Rachel McAdams be replaced by another actress to read her lines with him. In front of 150 crew members, he claimed that Rachel wasn't giving him anything to work with, and the two would constantly yell at each other on set. Their toxic on-set feud somehow morphed into a toxic relationship that lasted for 2 years. Anyone who worked on the set blames them for constant schedule setbacks and creating an overall difficult work environment. Number 6. Tom Hardy. Mad Max Fury Road is a forgotten gem in cinema history. It featured little to no CGI, despite having some insane visuals, and it also featured some pretty stellar performances from its cast, including Nicholas Hoult, Charlize Theron, and Tom Hardy. But Charlize and Tom played the main characters Furiosa and Max, and while their on-screen characters end up working together in the end, on set, pretty different vibe. Tom had a bad habit of showing up late all the time. Meanwhile, Charlize was a brand new mother who would be there on time every single day, while her kids were forced to be taken care of by someone else. In a book about Mad Max Fury Road, the wild and true story of the creation of the film, the writer Kyle Buchanan shared an instance on set between Charlize and Tom. Everybody was there at 8 a.m. ready to shoot except for Tom Hardy. But to make a point, Charlize took her place and stayed there till Tom showed up 3 hours later. She didn't move a muscle, and according to the crew, she was beyond furious. When Tom finally showed up, she asked him how he could be so disrespectful and said that they should fine the CNX Tuesday $100,000 for every minute that he held her up, and the crew. She didn't say CNX Tuesday, but the word she did say set Tom off. He rushed up to her and pulled out the whole "what did you say to me" thing. Yeah, big tough guy, huh? He can't hear so good. Overall, Charlize felt very uncomfortable with Tom and had to have an assistant follow her around on set as a buffer between the two. When the shoot wrapped, the tension was gone and things seemed to have gotten better, but the difficult shoot combined with the stress is probably why there was never a Mad Max 2, which really hurts. Seriously, if you made it and you're watching this, make another one. Number 5. Vin Diesel. Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel first met on the set of the 5th Fast and Furious movie, Fast 5. They're really good with names. This was Vin Diesel's 5th movie, while it was Dwayne's first. Not just in the franchise, but in the acting world in general. He had been in small budget movies, but this was a big budget movie. At first, everything seemed to be okay with these guys on set. Fast 5 made a ton of money, and they asked Dwayne to return for 6 and 7. However, something changed in 2016 when, in a now deleted post, Dwayne called one of his fellow Fast 7 co-stars a candied bum. He didn't say bum, but we can't swear on the internet, so I'm a toddler today. He actually said a word that rhymes with grass. Rumors began to fly that this was more than likely referencing Vin Diesel. Rumors proven only a few weeks after the post was made. Following the premiere of Fate of the Furious, Johnson posted on Instagram thanking all of his fellow co-stars and cast members by name except for Vin Diesel. It was later confirmed by Fast and Furious co-star Michelle Rodriguez that there was a massive amount of tension on set between these guys. They were bros at first, but as time went on and the franchise evolved, so did their egos. They fought constantly over who should get more screen time, who should get more money, who was the real lead of the franchise. You know, toxic masculinity and all that. To keep both actors happy, Johnson was given a spin-off movie in which he co-starred as the lead with Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel was left right where he belongs with his family. Number 4, Janet Hubert. Will Smith got his big break in the acting world thanks to his successful time on the sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show followed Will as the titular prince, living with his wealthy family in Bel-Air, surrounded by cousins, uncles, and of course, Aunt Viv. In season 1, Aunt Viv was played by a woman named Janet Hubert Witten, but as a lot of people know, she was recasted after an on-set feud with Will Smith just went way too far. According to Will, Janet viewed him as an antagonist. She had been in the business for years when Will suddenly popped into her life and took lead of a show. She held a tinge of jealousy towards Will as he just walked into town, got the gig, and that's it, you know? Well, hey Janet, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when you're good at your job. She was trying to convince the producers of his show to give her character more screen time and allow her to breathe on camera, but they said no, because it's not the Aunt Viv show, okay? She fought back hard, but it was ultimately decided that she would be asked to sit out of the rest of the series and was replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid, who is the real Aunt Viv, okay? We all know and love her. Number 3, Alyssa Milano. So, let's talk about the show Charmed for a second. This was a solid series that was on air for almost 10 years. The series followed 3 sisters that discover they're descendants of a line of good female witches and they're destined to fight against the forces of evil. Yeah, it was a very fun show. However, just because you play sisters on set doesn't mean that you're going to be close in real life. Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano had a very public altercation that resulted in a little incident on set being shared with the world. Rose claimed that Alyssa threw a fit in front of the crew, yelling about not being paid enough to do the stuff that she was doing. Only she didn't say stuff. She called Alyssa's behavior appalling and claimed that she cried every time the show got renewed for another season because it just meant more time on a toxic set. Alyssa never shared her own comments on the situation, confirming what she was being accused of. Number 2, Richard Gere. Richard Gere is one of those actors that doesn't really act. Sometimes people just get hired for films because they have the face for it and the style. For Richard Gere, he did not have enough class and moxie to keep a handle on his role in the film Lords of the Flatbush. He was cast to star alongside Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, and according to Sly, these two did not get along. Their beef was strong and long-lasting throughout production, until it finally came to a head when one day Richard was just a little bit too into one scene and grabbed Sylvester aggressively by the collar. When Sly told him to lay off, he laid in instead. The scene was being filmed on Coney Island, and when the actors took a minute to take a break, they tried to break each other. Sly was eating a hot dog alone in his car. Sounds pretty peaceful, right? But suddenly Richard stormed in to join him with half of a chicken dripping in mustard. Despite Sly's warnings about the mustard, it dripped all over his pants. And in true Rocky fashion, he elbowed Richard in the face and threw him out of his car. The altercation resulted in Richard being fired from the project. Oh no, we have to decide between Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone. I wonder how quick that decision was. Number 1, Jared Leto. Now, Jared Leto has always been a problematic figure in the world of Hollywood throughout most of his career. After first gaining notoriety for portraying the character of Lane Dixon alongside Dennis Quaid and Danny Glover, Leto quickly began building up his acting repertoire with roles in iconic movies like Mr. Nobody, Girl Interrupted, and he even took a turn as the Clown Prince of Darkness, the Joker, in 2016, which we don't like to talk about much. It's not a good memory. Jared has always taken method acting to the extreme same, losing and gaining weight rapidly over and over again, and it was in the film as the Joker where we think he might have snapped. While playing this iconic Batman villain, Leto purposefully distanced himself from his fellow actors on set, and reports are that he sent the castmates used adult toys, live animals, and deceased animals as well. At one point during filming, Captain Boomerang actor Jai Courtney found a live snake in his trailer following a long shoot day. The snake wasn't venomous or anything, but I think we can all agree that's a big nope. In recent years, he's claimed that any gifts that he sends to castmates are sent with the intent of joy and excitement, and should be received as such. But I don't know, exposing your fellow actors to your body fluids and real snakes? That doesn't sound very exciting.
Coming in at number 10 is Ewan McGregor. The last thing any actor needs while filming on location is someone from the paparazzi coming up and demanding their attention. One such incident took place with Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Ewan McGregor. Ewan was on location in New York filming a scene for the Netflix series Halston when he was spotted approaching photographer Steve Stans for being chatty during a take. Ewan then let out some choice words before snapping back into his character and filming a scene with co-star Kelly Bishop. Not only did nobody on set blame him at all, the cameraman actually apologized and they were able to laugh the whole thing off. I don't know though, I've seen what this guy can do with a lightsaber, so none of us should be getting on his bad side. Number 9. Tom Cruise. We all know that Tom Cruise is insane, there's no denying that. He may have been one of Hollywood's biggest and brightest in his early days, but his career and skills as an actor have been slowly going downhill since he divorced Katie Holmes. To prove his insanity and rage, let's talk about an incident that occurred on his last Mission Impossible movie. An audio clip was released of Cruise berating several crew members with intense anger. The crew in question were accused of not following safety protocols that were in place at that time. In his rant, Tom is heard swearing and screaming about the rules and how if he wants something, it will happen. The crew are essentially his minions who must do their master's bidding. The rant went viral, but Cruise defended the rant rather than apologize for it, claiming that he said what he said and the stakes were at an all-time high. While this may have happened at a time when Hollywood was shut down and many productions were on hold, that's no excuse to harass the people trying to make you look good. Number 8. Joaquin Phoenix. We understand a dedication to one's craft, and Joaquin Phoenix is a prime example. Joaquin's acting career has been going steady ever since he appeared in the 1989 comedy Parenthood when he was in his mid-teens. While he's seen as one of the greatest actors of recent history, his reputation on set was tarnished thanks to a little freakout while filming the 2018 solo flick Joker. He appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote the shoot when Jimmy played a behind-the-scenes clip of Joaquin getting loud and angry at a man named Larry and the constant whispering behind the camera before dropping a few F-bombs and storming off set. When the cameras came back to the studio, Joaquin was frozen in shock, clearly not expecting that clip to ever see the light of day. He explained that Larry was a cinematographer who had teased Joaquin off the set earlier in the day, calling him a diva and referring to him as Cher. In fact, during his on-set outburst, you can hear him say, "Call me Cher, how is that an insult?" He then explained that there's a lot of pressure on a set, especially in closed spaces like the apartment from the scene. He apologized to the audience for having to see him behave in such a manner, which was met with applause, and at the end of the day, he's a performer and no harm can come from the outburst. If Larry's cool with it, so are we. Number 7. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay got her start acting at just the age of 3, starring in over 60 TV spots and commercials for brands like Gap, Pizza Hut, and Jell-O. She got her big break when Disney cast her to play 2 roles in the classic family comedy The Parent Trap. She played twin sisters Haley Parker and Annie James, who randomly meet at summer camp and discover their parents split them up when they were babies following a divorce. Her career only seemed to rise from there, starring in several cult classics like Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Mean Girls as the main character, Katie Heron. Her spot on this list, however, comes from one of her last roles before her hiatus in the 2013 film The Canyons, starring alongside adult film star James Dean in the leading role. Her reputation was tarnished enough by 2013, but it was made even worse after an audio clip was released of Lohan berating her co-star on set for not performing a line properly. Lindsay was annoyed and took several shots at Dean, telling him to do his effing job. According to James, Lohan was aggressive towards him from the very beginning, apparently being upset that he was taking time off from adult films to attempt a career in the real world. Number 6. Christian Bale. Christian is a versatile actor, physically and skill-wise. He's able to shrink and grow his physique week seemingly at will, as he's played everything from a skinny substance addict to Batman. In 2008, Christian starred in the third film of the Terminator franchise, Terminator Salvation. While he was filming a scene, director of photography Shane Hurlburt apparently moved into Christian's eyesight, and this caused Christian to snap out of character and into defense mode. The now infamous audio clip of Christian screaming at Shane. To make matters worse, anyone trying to calm Christian down were met with an equally swift verbal lashing. While the cinematographer was just checking a light to make sure it was in the right place, aka doing his job, Bale made it his mission to share his intense feelings with the entire crew. When the audio leaked, Bale apologized for his actions and told the world to praise the crew for their work. While the movie turned out okay visually speaking, the project as a whole is remembered as the worst entry in the Terminator franchise to date. Number 5. Russell Crowe. Russell made a name for himself as a force to be reckoned with in the world of acting, playing the leading role in Ridley Scott's Gladiator film. Time magazine published an article about Gladiator when the film was initially released, stating that Crowe had doubts about the movie's evolving script and stormed off the set when he did not receive answers. Russell was not well behaved, a DreamWorks executive told the magazine. He tried to rewrite the entire script on the spot. You know the big line in the trailer, "In this life or the next, I will have my vengeance." At first, he absolutely refused to say it. He did a lot of posturing and put the fear of God in some people. Thankfully, Ridley never yelled. He was the voice of reason when dealing with many unreasonable actors, not the least of which was his lead. Gladiator producer Douglas Wick told Cinema Blend 20 years later that the reports of Crowe's heavy involvement in the script were greatly exaggerated and that Russell constantly had a strong point of view of what Maximus would do and not do. But there wasn't much improvisation. Even if these allegations aren't true, they continue the old narrative that Crowe has been difficult to work with. Number 4. Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler is best known for his role as the Foz on Happy Days and was set to direct Tom Hanks in his much-loved buddy cop movie Turner and Hooch. Unfortunately, these two had a pretty rough history together before that though. The Fonz had actually fought with Hanks in character on the set of Happy Days for one episode a few years prior. It would appear that Tom wishes he could fight Henry for real though, as rumor has it, the two of them didn't get along at all, so much so that a few days into shooting Turner and Hooch with Henry behind the wheel, Hanks ordered Winkler to be removed from the set and replaced as director. That's the kind of power Tom Hanks wields, as he could just walk on set and be like, no. Not only did Tom complain that Henry's behavior as director was annoying, he claimed that Henry was just overall bad at his job. It would take double the average time to reset a shot on set, he had minimal control over his actors, and was apparently very frustrated with having a dog on set. Like, did he even read the script before he took the gig? That dog is a national treasure. What makes this firing even more tragic though is the fact that when Winkler was delivered the news, one of the film's producers ripped his contract right in front of his face. Over the years, when asked about the incident, Henry denies that he's ever had any kind of personal or professional issues with Tom, but like Tom's never given us any reason to think we would lie about something like that, what would he have to gain? Number 3. Clayne Crawford. When actors portray best friends on screen, you expect that friendship to seep through real life, right? Well, wrong. Clayne Crawford and comedian Damon Wayans started working together on a series remake of the hit action film franchise Lethal Weapon in 2016, and the show was well received. The pair seemed to have good chemistry on camera that made us want to see more of their friendship. Behind the scenes, however, these two could not stand each other. The set was plagued with multiple altercations that bogged down production to the point where Clayne's character was written out of the show and replaced with Dukes of Hazzard star Sean William Scott. Following the recasting announcement, on-set audio was leaked of the pair bickering like an old married couple just moments before snapping into character for their scene. The clip clearly shows Clayne trying to egg Damon on, and the clip was recorded only a few days following a stunt gone wrong that Clayne directed that left Damon with a nasty head wound. The show did great without him, but was cancelled after only 4 short seasons. We need more Sean William Scott in the world, bring it back. Number 2. Casey Kazim. Casey's face is certainly one you do not know, but his voice certainly is. Casey voiced the original portrayal of the popular cartoon character Shaggy in the mystery series Scooby-Doo. During his time outside the recording booth, Casey actually used to run a daytime radio show. The content of one broadcast in particular sparked a very heated reaction from Casey. In 1985, he was asked to read a dedication request about a fan's dog that had passed away. The dedication read, "Recently there was a passing in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles." Casey was audibly upset, as this statement was meant to follow a relatively happy song. He was then sent into a tangent, which he made it clear that this kind of thing had kept happening for a while now, not holding back a single thought on the matter. Following the incident, the producers started being more careful with the content they would allow Casey to read. And coming in at number 1 is Orson Welles. Orson was the man behind what many film schools consider to be the greatest piece of cinematography ever put to film, Citizen Kane. Now, I've been forced to watch it, and it's definitely not the best, but I digress. Orson did a lot of voiceover work back in the day and had one particularly terrible time trying to record a radio ad for food company Find Us in 1970. Behind the scenes audio shows Orson going on a rant after being asked to emphasize the words in and before calling the man running the show some choice words and telling him to let Orson hear what he's supposed to sound like. He complains about the content of the script after fumbling the name of a Norwegian fisherman. He just kinda mumbles his way to the end of the script before claiming the content was unoriginal and uninspiring. The guy was reading an ad that contained the word beef. Sorry if nobody found that inspirational. Well, that's all for our list of the top 10 worst celebrities that stormed off sets.
At number 10 we have Christian Bale. Christian is a versatile actor physically and skill-wise. He's able to shrink and grow his physique seemingly at will. He's played everything from a skinny substance addict to Batman. In 2008, Christian starred in a third film of the Terminator franchise, Terminator Salvation, and while he was filming, a scene director of photography, Shane Hurlbut, apparently moved into Christian's eyesight. This caused Christian to snap out of character and into defense mode. The now infamous audio clip of Christian screaming at Shane. To make matters worse, anyone trying to calm Christian down were met with an equally swift verbal lashing. While the cinematographer was just checking a light to make sure it was in the right place, aka doing his job, Bale made it his mission to share his intense feelings with the entire crew. When the audio leaked, Bale apologized for his actions and told the world to praise the crew for their work. While the movie turned out okay, visually speaking, the project as a whole is remembered as the worst entry in the Terminator franchise to date. At number 9 we have Joaquin Phoenix. We understand a dedication to one's craft, and Joaquin Phoenix is a prime example. Joaquin's acting career has been going steady since he first appeared in the 1989 comedy Parenthood when he was in his mid-teens. While he's seen as one of the greatest actors in recent history, his reputation on set has been tarnished thanks to a little freakout while filming the 2018 solo flick Joker. He appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote the shoot when Jimmy played a behind-the-scenes clip of Joaquin getting loud and angry at a man named Larry and the constant whispering behind the cameras before dropping a few F-bombs and storming off set. When the cameras came back to the studio, Joaquin was frozen in shock, clearly not expecting the clip to ever see the light of day. He explained that Larry was a cinematographer who had teased Joaquin off set earlier that day, calling him a diva. He then explained that there's a lot of pressure on set, especially in a closed space like the apartment from the scene. He apologized to the audience for having to see him behave in such a manner, which was met with applause. At the end of the day, he's a performer and no harm came from the outburst. If Larry's cool with it, so are we. At number 8 we have Ewan McGregor. The last thing any actor needs while filming on location is something from the paparazzi coming up and demanding their attention. One such incident took place with Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. Ewan was on location in New York filming a scene for the Netflix series Halston when he was spotted approaching photographer Steve Sands for being too chatty during a take. McGregor then let out some choice words before snapping back into character and filming a scene with a co-star Kelly Bishop. Not only did nobody on set blame him at all, the cameraman actually apologized and they were able to laugh the whole thing off. I've seen what this guy can do with a lightsaber and none of us should be getting on his bad side. At number 7 we have Tom Cruise. Now we know Tom Cruise is insane, there's no denying that, and he may be one of Hollywood's biggest and brightest in his early days, but his career and skills as an actor have been slowly going downhill since he divorced Katie Holmes. To prove his insanity and rage, let's talk about an incident that occurred on his last Mission Impossible movie, an audio clip that was released of Cruise berating several crew members with intense anger. The crew in question were accused of not following safety protocols that were in place at the time. In the rant, Tom was heard swearing and screaming about the rules and how if he wants something to happen, it will happen. The crew are essentially his minions who must do their master's bidding. The rant went viral when Cruise defended the rant rather than apologize for it, claiming that he said what he said and the stakes were at an all-time high. While this may have happened at a time when Hollywood was shut down and many productions were on hold, that's no excuse to harass the people trying to make you look good. At number 6 we have Clayne Crawford. When actors portray their best friends on screen, you expect the friendship to seep through them in real life, right? Well, wrong. Clayne Crawford and comedian Damon Wayans started working together on a series remake of the hit action film franchise Lethal Weapon in 2016, and the show was well received. The pair seemed to have good chemistry on camera and made us want to see more of their friendship. Behind the scenes, however, these two could not stand each other. The set was plagued with multiple altercations that bogged down production to the point where Clayne's character was written out of the show and replaced with Dukes of Hazzard star Sean William Scott. Following the recasting announcement on set, audio was leaked of the pair bickering like an old married couple just moments before snapping into character for their scene. The clip clearly shows Clayne trying to egg Damon on, and this clip was recorded only a few days following a stunt gone wrong Clayne directed and that left Damon with a nasty head wound. The show did great without him, but was cancelled world after only 4 short seasons. We need more of Seann William Scott in the world, bring it back. Number 5, we have Orson Welles. Orson was the man behind what many film schools consider the greatest piece of cinematography ever put to film, Citizen Kane. I've never seen it, so I can't comment any further. Orson did a lot of voiceover work back in the day and had one particularly terrible time trying to record a radio ad for the food company Findus in 1970. Behind the scenes, Otto shows Orson going on a rant after being asked to emphasize the words in and beef, before calling the man running the show some choice words and telling him to let Orson hear what he's supposed to sound like. He complains about the content of the script after fumbling the name of a Norwegian fisherman. He just kind of mumbles his way to the end of the script before claiming the content was unoriginal and uninspiring. The guy was reading an ad that contained the word beef. Sorry if nobody found that inspirational. At number 4, we have Casey Kasem. Casey's face is certainly one you did not know, but his voice certainly is. Casey voiced the original portrayal of the popular cartoon character Shaggy in the mystery series Scooby-Doo. During his time outside of the recording booth, Casey actually used to run a daytime radio show. The content of one broadcast in particular sparked a very heated reaction from Casey. In 1985, he was asked to read a dedication request about a fan's dog that had passed away. The dedication read, "Recently there was a passing in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles." Casey was audibly upset as the statement was meant to follow a relatively happy song. He was sent into a tangent in which he made it clear that this kind of thing had kept happening to him for a while now, not holding back a single thought on the matter. Following the incident, the producers started to be more careful with the content they would allow Casey to read. At number 3, we have Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler, best known for his role as the Fonz on Happy Days, was set to direct Tom Hanks in his much-loved buddy cop movie Turner and Hooch. Unfortunately, these two had a pretty rough history together before that though. The Fonz had actually fought with Hanks in character on set of Happy Days for one episode a few years prior. It would appear that Tom wishes he could fight Henry for real though, as rumor has it the two of them didn't get along at all. So much so that a few days into shooting Turner and Hooch with Henry behind the wheel, Hanks ordered Winkler to be removed from set and replaced as director. That's the kind of power Tom Hanks wields. He could just walk on set and be like, no. Not only did Tom complain that Henry's behavior as director was annoying, he complained that Henry was just overall bad at his job. It would take double the average time to reset a shot on set, he had minimal control over his actors, and was apparently very frustrated with having a dog on set. Like, did he even read the script before he took the gig? The dog is a national treasure. What makes this firing even more tragic is the fact that when Winkler was delivered the news, one of the film's producers ripped Henry's contract up right in front of his face. Over the years, when asked about the incident, Henry denies that he ever had any kind of personal or professional issues with Tom, but like Tom's never given us a reason to think he would lie about something like that. What would he have to gain? At number 2, we have Eric Stoltz. Let's talk a bit about the 1985 comedy sci-fi Back to the Future. I loved this movie growing up. The story followed Marty McFly, a high school student who was accidentally sent back to 1955 in a time machine invented by his close friend and scientist Dr. Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, and is forced to get his future parents together before he disappears from existence. Whoever pitched this movie must have been lacking sleep. The film went on to spawn 2 sequels, creating what is considered to be the greatest film trilogy of all time. While Michael J. Fox may have played the iconic Marty McFly, he was not the first actor to don the puffy vest on set. A young man named Eric Stoltz was initially cast to play the role. You may not recognize Eric's face, as his most famous character was drenched in prosthetics and makeup, playing the character of Roy L. Dennis in the film Mask as a man with several facial and skull deformities. He was nearly halfway through shooting the flick when the news came that he was going to be replaced with Michael J. Fox. Fox was the director Robert Zemeck's first choice, but was initially unable to sign onto the project due to his prior commitment to the sitcom Family Ties. Eventually though, the two studios were able to find a way to work out his schedule and allow him to film both projects simultaneously. This is why you may notice a majority of Marty's scenes that take place outside are at night, as it was the only time he could film for a good 60% of the shoot. Robert wanted Eric out from the beginning, however his portrayal of the character was far more intense than the writers had in mind. And not to mention, Eric read the end of the movie as tragedy instead of a happy ending. Spoiler alert, at the end of the first film, Marty returns to 1985 after successfully getting his parents together, but instead of being poor and depressed, the family is now thriving and successful. Somehow Eric took this as Marty becoming an outsider in the world. His intensity combined with the depressing performance of the finale got him kicked off the shoot only minutes after Fox was available. And at number 1, we have Lindsay Lohan. She got her start acting at the age of just 3, starring in over 60 TV spots and commercials for brands like Gap, Pizza Hut, and Jell-O. She had her big break when Disney cast her to play 2 roles in the classic family comedy The Parent Trap. She played twin sisters Haley Parker and Annie James, who randomly meet at summer camp and discover their parents split them up when they were babies following a divorce. Her career only seemed to rise from there, starring in several cult classics like Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Mean Girl as the main character Katie Heron. Her spot on this list, however, comes from the last roles before her hiatus in the 2013 film The Canyons, starring starring alongside adult film star James Dean in the leading role. Her reputation was tarnished enough by 2013, but it was made even worse after an audio clip was released of Lohan berating her co-star on set for not performing a line properly. Lindsay was annoyed and took several shots at Dean, telling him to do his damn job. According to James, Lohan was aggressive towards him from the very beginning, apparently being upset that he was taking time off from adult films to attempt a career in the real world.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Isaac Mizrahi. While Isaac Mizrahi was acting as an interviewer for E! On the red carpet for the Golden Globes, he would have a troubling interview with Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett, who was attending as a supporting actress nominee for Match Point, would be left feeling shocked after Isaac decided to touch her chest in the interview because he wanted to know if the actress had a bra under her stunning red dress. As he gave it a quick squeeze, he would then say, "I'm just taking notes for next time I make a..." Then he would be cut off by Scarlett, who said, "What is going on?" And then she said, "Absolutely, take all the notes you want." The actress then later said, "Oh my god." While Isaac did later apologize for offending anyone, the Academy of Motion Pictures of Arts then had to issue their own statement when they said, "I can predict we would be extraordinary angry if that happened on our red carpet. I cannot predict what we would do afterwards." Number 9, Kesha. Remember that time when Jerry Seinfeld savagely refused to hug Kesha during a red carpet interview? Not once, not twice, but 3 painful times. It was truly the stuff of nightmares, but watching it from the comfort of our own homes made for some great laughs. Although Kesha was silent about the issue for some time, she would come out in 2017 to break the silence on what happened after she rudely interrupted Jerry in an interview to ask him for a hug. Jerry would then later sit down for an interview with AJ Calloway where he explained that he didn't hug Kesha because he simply didn't know her and admitted, "I'm 63. I don't know every pop star. I have to meet someone to say hello. Gotta start somewhere." For Kesha's part, she remained pretty quiet on the whole issue as she was presumably recovering from all the overwhelming embarrassment of being rejected so publicly like that. However, a day after the video went viral, she did post an Instagram photo of her cat with some pretty suggestive hashtags. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and, subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Tommy Lee Jones. When Joan and Melissa Rivers were asked who their least favorite person to interview on the red carpet was, they didn't have to think twice before responding, and they both ended up saying Tommy Lee Jones. In 2013, HuffPost Live asked the famous mother and daughter duo about their worst celebrity interview, and Melissa immediately said Tommy Lee Jones, to which Joan responded by saying, "Oh, without a question." HuffPost then went on to ask the pair to elaborate on the assertion, to which Melissa went on to know, "He's at the top of everybody's list. He doesn't want to be there, he's unhappy doing the red carpet, and he's going to make everyone else around him just as unhappy in the experience." Joan then would go on to sum up the issue nicely by saying, "Jones went to Harvard and is very impressed by that accomplishment." She then went on to say, "We all went to Ivy League schools, calm down." Number 7, John Travolta. In 2015, John Travolta once again became the talk of the Oscars after he had a pretty off encounter with Scarlett Johansson that had some of us scratching our heads. Scarlett, who co-starred with John in the film A Love Story for Bobby Long, told the Associated Press that the picture of him kissing her on the red carpet was taken out of context. She then went on to say there is nothing strange, creepy, or inappropriate about John Travolta. The image that is circulating is unfortunate, still framed from a live action encounter that was a very sweet and total welcome. She then went on to add that the photo did not reflect the live moment and that we were all being misguided and misinformed, and that she hadn't seen John in some years and it was always a pleasure to be greeted by him, yet her face in the photo said otherwise. Number 6, Ryan Seacrest. In 2019, Grammy viewers would slam Ryan Seacrest for his awkward Lady Gaga red carpet interview. When Ryan tried to interview the superstar, he didn't so much ask her questions as he just chose to speak to her. And when Lady Gaga did try to speak, Ryan would just end up cutting her off without even giving her the chance to speak properly. He then went on to tell her that she should be performing at the Oscars, for which she is a multiple nominee for, and she responded by saying, "That was like, answer my question, but I'm not asking one." Ryan then tried to recover from the interview, but then made an awkward joke about him not asking her questions before saying they were cutting to break. Gaga was a good sport in handling the awkward interview, playing along with his joke that carried on for way too long as there was a delay in going
going to the advertisements. Before the interview was over, she did pull a host of awkward faces before eventually hugging Ryan and leaving. Number 5. David Lee Roth. In 2019, David Lee Roth had a pretty bizarre red carpet interview that taught us all that you can either wear all sorts of outlandish things or nothing, and you can also be as provocative as you want in the name of artistry, and flaunt your questionable decisions all over social media. The king of being completely insane during the red carpet interview will always go to David Lee Roth. David, who was set to perform at the Billboard Music Awards, was being interviewed by E! on the red carpet special. During the interview, he would start out on solid footing, discussing Van Halen's dance influence and how what they did in the 80s has informed today's pop music, which was okay. But things took a quick turn when he decided to quickly go off the rails, and somehow West Side Story, Lowriders, and David's abundance of black and Hispanic friends all came up. The whole interview was just him inspiring to get on Miley's level of interviews, and it was just completely weird. Go give it a watch. Number 4. Tiffany Haddish. When Entertainment Tonight's Lauren Zima seemed to have accidentally called Tiffany Haddish's new Oscar after party dress a costume change, things quickly went south, and when Tiffany fired back at Lauren saying, "I'm not wearing a costume, I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana," the actress was clearly not done firing back at the reporter when she then went on to educate her on costumes and outfits by saying, "It's called an evening gown, darling. No one is paying for this. I paid for it. It's custom. Thank you." That's when the reporter jokingly announced it was her time to pass away, pretended to faint in an attempt to ease the tension, and Tiffany's response, may I add, was, "This is what fame looks like, this is what success looks like, this is what money looks like." And yeah, the moment is just as brutal to watch as you would expect. And take notes, because if it's not Halloween, it's not a costume, and you definitely don't want to make the same mistake unless you want to be embarrassed on the red carpet by some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Coming number 3, we have Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow once left Emma Chamberlain in a pretty awkward red carpet interview. That became one of the most hilarious and viral moments of 2022 when Emma, who is a big YouTuber, was interviewing Jack Harlow for Vogue. What started off as a pretty interesting interview would then randomly turn a different way when Jack decided out of nowhere he was going to hit her with a totally random "love you," and then he quickly turned away and left the interview. Now you're probably wondering what happened next. Well, as the rapper walked away, the camera would zoom in on Emma, and it would give us a glorious image of her staring into space and questioning her entire reality, which was honestly a 10 out of 10 reaction, but considering their age difference, the gesture was just completely weird. Number 2, we have Sutton Strachey. Okay, we all know that there's no one more dramatic than the Real Housewives cast, as they always seem to do shady things at the most random times, like the time Sutton Strachey showed up to the People's Choice Awards in 2022, and just like the shows, she brought some drama. When the interviewer asked her if she would like Lisa to return to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the reality TV personality definitely didn't have anything nice to say. She then chose to look at the reporter in the camera in total silence, and she stayed like this until the reporter moved on to the next question. It was a question she actually wanted to respond to. The reporter then went on to the next question by saying anyways. But just before, if you caught a look at Sutton, you would see that she was baffled, and she looked pretty mean and scary to the point it would have caused any reporter to end the interview and move on to the next star. It's safe to say that Sutton doesn't really like Lisa and doesn't want her to return to the show anytime soon. And coming at number 1 today, we have Sacha Baron Cohen. When he showed up to the red carpet dressed as his character from The Dictator, his look was completely pushing boundaries as he proceeded on the red carpet accompanied by female bodyguards and an urn which he stated was filled with Kim Jong-un's ashes. While the whole interview and actions were very off-putting and not really professional, things took a quick turn to the worse when he decided to accidentally dump the material all over Ryan Seacrest's Burberry tux. While everyone was shocked at what actually happened, Ryan Seacrest actually showed the world what a true professional he is, and he brushed it off. And he brushed it off quite literally, may I add. But still, the interview was pretty disturbing, and Sasha shouldn't be playing sensitive games like that. that. Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Liam Hemsworth. Thanks to Miley Cyrus's new hit song Flowers, it's been number 1 on the Billboard for 3 weeks, and because the song is so popular, it resurfaced a couple of clips that shows Liam Hemsworth visibly cringing at his ex-wife Miley Cyrus on the red carpet during interviews. In one video, Miley could be seen twerking on Liam at a Vanity Fair Oscars after party in February of 2019. As the two were being interviewed, Liam then backed away quickly and looked incredibly uncomfortable as she danced for the cameras, to which he responded by saying, "Don't do it, don't do it, you're scarring everyone on the red carpet." Miley then immediately stopped and glanced awkwardly at the camera. In another clip uploaded, the couple could be seen attending the Avengers Endgame premiere, and the singer tried to pose cheekily with her husband, and she made this move to lick his neck, and Liam was displeased and told Miley to behave for once. And when he went on to cling onto her waist, she seemed to be very annoyed at his gesture and pushed his hand away, which resulted in him walking away while she continued posing on her own. Number 9, Dakota Johnson. What was supposed to be a sweet mother and daughter moment during the Oscars red carpet show ended up becoming one of the night's most awkward interviews, when ABC host Laura Spencer asked the actress Melanie Griffith if she was going to see her daughter's racy movie 50 Shades of Grey. The actress would then quickly respond no before her daughter Dakota Johnson scowled and said, "Maybe one day." However, then her mom would respond by saying, "I don't think I can. I think it would be strange. Well, she's a good actress. I don't need to see that to know she's good." The subject was obviously still a sore subject and the sticking point between the pair, as Dakota then jumped into a pouting teenager for a moment before snapping at her mother by saying, "Alright, you don't have to see it, Jesus Christ." The uncomfortable exchange between the two then set social media on fire, inspiring some harsh criticism and some pretty serious tweets. However, near the end of the night, Melanie would opt to tell Dakota that she would watch the film just so she could smooth things over between her and her daughter. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in number 8, we have Shailene Woodley. So during most interviews, Shailene Woodley is always known for being really blunt when it comes to her answering questions, especially when the questions make her feel uncomfortable. During one incident on the red carpet, Shailene had a pretty awkward encounter that caused her to be dumbfounded when it came to the reporter's question. In the interview, the reporter looked at the actor and then out of nowhere asked her if she was hungry before noting that she herself was hungry. Shailene then reacted in a way that was pretty awkward and rude in the moment, as she looked at her interviewer like she was crazy and said, "Well, you should probably eat." I don't think any of us really blame Shailene in this situation for being rude, as it was such a weird question and comment to come from a reporter. Not to mention, there were so many questions that the reporter could have asked her, but she chose to ask the actor if she was hungry, because you aren't going to get a genuinely nice answer to that question. Number 7, Selena Gomez. During a red carpet interview in 2017 Billboard Woman in Music event, Selena would be asked about how Justin Bieber impacted the person she is today, and the singer and actor responded by being a little standoffish when she said, "I don't think anyone else cares. I think for me, what's been great is that I've been able to live the life I wanted for myself, and it doesn't always look the way people think it should. But it's not really my concern anymore. Look, my family is great, my health is great, I love deeply, and that's just who I am. I'm not really ashamed." While the actress claimed that no one really cared about her and Justin's relationship, Twitter reactions would definitely prove otherwise to Selena's response, as one fan would say, "Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber will definitely last this time if they're both on the same page romantically." And then another fan would note, "So as dumb as this sounds, I'm so happy when I heard Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez are back together. It's that relationship I basically grew up with and I feel as if I'm invested in. My heart was so full when I heard the news. Even today, people are still fond on the idea that the former couple may cross paths yet again in the future, and it's gotten to the point that every time Justin is happy with another woman, his fans still chant Selena's name." Number 6, Jim Carrey. Back in 2017, Jim Carrey was clearly just really bored, so the comedian decided he would randomly show up to a New York red carpet event. While on the red carpet, he made his way to a reporter, and then he ended up telling her that the only reason he he showed up to the event is because he was trying to find the most meaningless event he could attend. If the interview wouldn't get any more funnier due to his odd behavior, he then went on this really weird rant where he stated that icons and personalities don't really exist by saying, "I don't believe in icons, I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, an invitation in disguise, beyond the red S on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself, and I don't care." He then turned into one of his comedic characters before walking away when he came to the conclusion to his rant and said, "We don't matter." Number 5. Kim Kardashian. Back in 2019, Kim Kardashian awkwardly interrupted her older sister during an interview on the E! People's Choice Awards red carpet. When E! anchor Juliana Rancic asked Kourtney Kardashian who designed her bra-bearing glittering suit, she began to say she didn't plan her answer in advance, but then she was cut off when Kim decided to lunge in front of her and start to hype their new fragrance collaboration by saying, "All that matters is that we're wearing KKW Diamond. We're all wearing that." She then went on to tell Kourtney, "I was saving you since you didn't know who you were wearing. That was my save." Kourtney then went on to correct Kim by saying, "No, it was Naeem Khan. I just didn't know how to pronounce it." Despite the awkward moment, Kourtney didn't appear to mind the publicity, but Kim didn't need to interrupt her sister's interview to support her new line, as the world was already talking about it. Number 4. Jennifer Lawrence. So back in 2012, Josh Hutcherson was in an interview on the red carpet for the Catching Fire press tour when Jennifer Lawrence thought it would be a good idea to punk her co-star while he was in mid-interview by asking him how his rash was doing. Later, Josh would then open up about the incident on The Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and there he would reveal that Jennifer had this history of punking him, and while making rounds on the red carpet, he then admitted at one time mid-interview she breezed past him and asked him, "Hey Josh, how's the rash doing?" Josh then looked extremely embarrassed before he went on to note that Jennifer was actually really crazy. The reporter then went on to question Josh about the incident, and he said, "Oh, my rash is doing fantastic. Don't worry about that. I love Jennifer." The actor was obviously really uncomfortable with Jennifer's uncalled move. That he wanted to end the interview and opted to say, "I gotta go back to take care of the rash," before running away from his interview. Number 3. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is known for speaking her mind, so back in 2013, after she had a mouthful to say after a not-so-good interview with Access Hollywood's correspondent, Laura Saltman, the Anaconda rapper would then throw some serious shade at the reporter on the red carpet after Laura asked the rapper about her recent Twitter rant, which included catty words about fellow American Idol judge Mariah Carey, and she snapped back and refused to answer the question. When Laura asked, "Are you looking forward to the end of American Idol? Because I know there were Twitter comments you made today that caused quite a stir," Nicki would then respond by saying, "That question didn't even make sense, so if you want to insinuate what you're talking about, I'm not going to." Before Laura could even respond, Nicki would then roll her eyes, say goodnight, and walk away. In light of the diss, Saltman then decided to express her feelings in a blog posted to Access Hollywood's website, where she labeled Nicki as a mean girl and cyberbullying, perpetuating the problems of social media. Number 2. Amber Heard. Back in 2015, Amber would be captured giving her mom a stern lesson on the red carpet about the rules she has to follow as her mom joined her at a glitzy film premiere. At the time, Amber was still married to Johnny Depp, and she decided to bring her mother along for the ride at a screening of Johnny's new flick at the time, Black Mass, at Toronto's International Film Festival. Her proud mom then watched from the sidelines as Amber oozed in this striking black dress in front of the camera. However, the actress was less than impressed when she spotted her mom talking to a nearby cameraman. In a video captured, the star's mom could be seen in the video identifying herself to a man from Kiss 92.5, where she proudly gushed, saying she was Amber's mom. Amber then stormed towards her mother and interrupted the interview. And in the video, you could see Amber's face. It was so stony that she may as well have been embarrassed by her mom in front of friends at a playground. She then quickly grabbed her mother, gave her a warning by saying never make eye contact.
And coming in at number 1 today, we have Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman wasn't necessarily rude, but she did get a pretty funny response from Tom Hiddleston when she briefly interrupted him during an interview at the Golden Globes one year. Tom was in the middle of his interview talking to Liza Koshy about one of his shows, and Nicole decided to insert herself in between Tom and Liza and then quickly said, "That's enough talking." While Nicole was clearly just pulling Tom's leg, at first he was a bit taken back by Nicole's actions, and it did take him a bit to notice that Nicole was doing a quirky little bit. Once the actor realized Nicole was only joking, he then quickly joined in on the fun. He then conducted a quick impromptu moment in the interview with Nicole, and it was definitely a moment that was awkward for a second, but then everybody laughed it off.